The following announcement has been paid for by the New World Order.
Remember this, when you're the greatest fighter in the world today, they got a name for you. They don't call you a great fighter, they call you Chael Sonnen and beat me, if you can.
And after tonight, none of you in this ring will ever again!
You're talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kid stealing, woo, wheeling dealing, limousine riding, jet flying, son of a gun, and I'm having a hard time holding these alligators down. Woo!
I'm gonna drink a Coors Light. That's a Coors Light because Bud Light won't pay me nothing.
And I have my cold beer. You have your cold beer? If not, you are fucking jabroni.
Wash it down with 1 beer, 2 beers, 3 beers, a shot of whiskey.
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
The following announcement has been paid for by the New World Order.
Hey, it's FRB, and welcome to the FRB Show for the week of December 15th, 2014. It's been a hectic couple of weeks. I was in Vegas for UFC 1 and then for the UFC show in Phoenix. Had a great time. Actually, too much fun. I missed my damn flight for the first time ever in my life. I missed a flight. I was going from Phoenix back home. And, had a few too many cold beers and forgot to set my alarm. So, missed my flight. So, and then work, and then a bunch of other stuff, life. So, this is a shorter episode than the other ones, but it's a great guest. We have Luke Rockhold, who's, I think, the biggest threat to Chris Weidman for the UFC middleweight title. So, hope you guys enjoy it, and I'll be back next week working on a couple guests. I will definitely talk about the lawsuit against the UFC, and we might have a guest co-host who is actually a UFC fighter that I know. So might be doing a little bit something different, try to make this as entertaining as possible. So with that, here's Bruce. Welcome to the FRB Show, and when I told you a couple weeks ago that we were bringing the heavy artillery early, I wasn't joking. Today we got the former Strikeforce middleweight champion of the world, and I don't care what the UFC rankings say. You know, to me, there's a guy who's the champion. His name is Chris Weidman, and there's a #1 contender, and he's my guest right now. His name is Luke Rockhold. What's going on, Luke?
I like the way you think, Brian. I like the way you think.
I mean,
you're a very informed individual, so I'll take it.
Have you seen those rankings, though, man? I mean, they have Anderson Silva as a #1 contender, Jacare, who you beat in a 5-round match. You got #3 Vitor Belfort, who has lost about 30 pounds in the past 6 months. Machida at 4, and then you're at 5.
None of it makes any sense to me, to tell you the truth. Belfort, I understand. I mean, he should be the #1 contender, given what he's done and where he's at. I have no idea where you put Anderson Silva at this point. Obviously, the Jacare, I don't agree with that. And, but
yeah, I mean, it's very difficult.
All over the place. I don't even know, who does who's the reporters, who's on the panel right now.
Well, the problem is the most credible journalists really they're not doing it. They said it's some kind of they don't want to be involved with it.
Yeah.
So
it's crazy. It's crazy. We have a panelist of journalists who are ranking us as the best fighters in the world who have never fought or trained probably a day in their life. It's a weird thing, right?
Yeah, that's absolutely true. And
how do they judge you? I don't know. How do they judge that? I mean, only know so much until you get in there.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I mean, 2014 for you has been a really good year. You know, you beat Philippou, Bosch, Bisping, all by finish. You know, all three very respected guys. And at this point, are you preparing for that fight in LA in February against Chris Weidman?
You know, given the landscape of fighting and how people fall out all the time, it's not a bad idea to be ready to go. You know, I've talked to the bosses and you know, and a lot of people, and people are telling me to stay ready because anything can happen. You know, those are 4 fighters, and people drop out all the time. So I'll be ready to go for that. Otherwise, I know Machida is out there. As long as he has a good performance next week and wins, I'm not opposed to that either.
Yeah, I would steal a line from my buddy Chael. He said a couple of years ago that he always liked to hear when Vitor was going to fight and when Vanderlei was going to fight, because that would tell him exactly when to start his training camp, because he knew neither of them was going to show up.
If it's in Brazil, you know, they might show up.
Yeah, it just kind of depends. But you know, it's interesting you brought up Dalloway and Machida, because I see you could possibly face the winner of that, and then I also see another possibility being Jacare versus Romero, Yoel Romero winner. Are you looking at that fight too, or that's in February, so that'd be too far out for you?
Truthfully, you know, I'll be ready for. I know they like the Machida matchup. You know, that's something they're interested in. As long as he goes out there and does his job and performs, I could see that happening. Jacare, I don't think he wants to fight me. To tell you the truth, I offered to fight him a while back, and he declined to fight me. He said he wanted to fight with Saucy. And I went after it again with this last fight, and they decided a Romero fight pretty quickly. So, you know, I don't see Jacare winning. If he wins that fight, I don't see how he would accept the fight with me at that point. You know, he's already calling for the title, so you know, I don't blame him. Whatever, but you know, I'm pursuing that fight. You know.
Sure.
Obviously, I beat him. And they somehow rank him above me, which obviously pisses me off. And I'd like to rectify that situation. So that's my whole point in asking for that fight.
I think one of the issues is that people that are doing the voting, like, they probably weren't even watching the sport when you fought Jacare, and it's not like it was 10 years ago.
Yeah, it was a while back, you know, but you know, I don't know. It was a 5-round fight. It's not like it was a quick fight. You know, I beat him, I caught him or something stupid. It's like a test of wills, and you know, it was just a brutal match, and I proved myself, I think, in 5 rounds against him, and I do it again. I think I finished him this time.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty clear. You know, you guys fought for 25 minutes, and it was very clear who the better guy was. Now, another idea that I'm sure you've thought of, but I'll bring it up here and pretend I'm really smart, is if Anderson Silva gets by Nick Diaz, whatever date that is, January 31st, I think from a business perspective for you, if you were to challenge Anderson Silva in the main event of a pay-per-view, it would do a lot for your brand, do a lot for your bank account, and I think it's a fight Anderson would be interested in.
Those are 2 things I'm very interested in, building my brand, building my bank account. So, and fighting a legend, of course. I like it too. I like what you think. Not gonna lie, it's a ways away, but you know, anything could happen in between that. So, but that's still on the table at that point for sure. I'd love to.
Right. So right now you're helping Daniel Cormier prepare for John Jones, UFC 182, and from what I've read, from what I've heard, you're emulating John Jones. You put on a little bit of weight. I don't know if that's true. Maybe you can tell us. And is it tough emulating John Jones, because there doesn't seem to be too many guys like John Jones?
Yeah. No, it's actually kind of cool. You know, I've been trying to do some John Jones techniques, and to tell you the truth, I've actually started to use them in my own repertoire. I'm, a couple of the kicks, the check kicks, side kicks, and control the distance. There's certain things I'm actually using now, like, subconsciously it just comes out. So I'm not necessarily putting on weight. I was just joking. I just like to eat, so I was enjoying myself on the off season. But I'm a little big. I'm trying to stay in decent shape though. I'm under 210. I'm happy with that.
Yeah, so you're within striking distance of the of middleweight, but a lot of people, they might not know that there's a fella from Iran named Gasalov, and he's a 5-time world champion. And I've heard and I've seen on Instagram that he's in camp. He's at AKA. And do you have any impressions of him? He's not well known in this country, but he's a 5-time world champion in freestyle wrestling. And you put him in any other country, and he's like John Jones or Chuck Liddell in his prime.
Yeah, Gasalov is nasty. Watching him wrestle live against DC was pretty amazing to see. The guys, just watching him warm up, he just does so many different weird styles, and his body moves in different ways. For such a big guy, too. It's pretty fun to watch. I don't know about him coming to MMA. He came and trained with us. Sparred a couple days, I guess, but I think he was just visiting out, and he's looking forward to meeting up with DC and getting some good training. I know he wants to go for the Olympics again. He wants to go for gold. 2016, that's what my impression of where he was at. He came to Santa Cruz. He's a better surfer than Cormier, though. I'll give you that. I took Cormier on his first session, and he barely got to his feet. Gasalov actually rode every wave I pushed him into all the way to the beach. I was pretty impressed.
Yeah.
I'm definitely outdid Cormier. He put Cormier to shame in the surfing world.
So that's interesting because it goes back to your background. You have a brother who's a pro surfer, and it looked like you were going to follow in his footsteps rather. And you also have a sister, from what I researched, that was into jiu-jitsu, and you were wrestling at the time, but then transitioned to jiu-jitsu. Do I have the story right?
Yeah, similar. My parents believed in school sports. They'd keep me out of trouble, and I was trying to get away from that in high school, and they made me choose a school sport. One of my good friends was wrestling with in junior high, so ended up sticking with wrestling. My sister and her brother-in-law saw me wrestle. They always watched my matches, and saw I had a different funky style. And they were into jiu-jitsu, and they're all about it, so they kept trying to drag me in, and they finally dragged me in. I think I was a sophomore in high school, and tried it out a few times. I was like, oh, this is awesome. It's more finish. You get to choke people out. Not about just putting people on your back. It's more creative. So I dabbled with it a little bit in high school, but I was committed to wrestling to finish. And once I was finished with that, I jumped full into jiu-jitsu because I didn't really have that physical outlet. So jiu-jitsu gave me that, and I quit wrestling because there was no professional outlet. I wasn't going to pursue it in college and torture myself, which I knew I've already been through the training camps. Summer camps I did. But my sister was good. I think she won blue belt Pan American. But she's a very smart girl, so she ended up being a forensic anthropologist instead.
Yeah, because I mean, when I first heard about you, I was like, well, he looks like a good fighter, a good stand-up fighter, has some skills, and I was like, yeah, but what happens when a wrestler comes and takes him down? And I didn't really know that wrestling was actually your base, because they really don't talk about it much, and that maybe that works to your advantage. Yeah,
people don't underestimate my wrestling, no doubt. I mean, I could have had a couple scholarship offers actually to go to some smaller colleges. I just didn't want to do it. I went to I made it to the state championships in high school. I had a different style of wrestling. I was a leg rider. I always did funky stuff, and I got screwed. I got screwed in like the Central Coast section. I got screwed in state. People didn't know how to judge me and wrestle. So I left a bitter taste on mouth and ended up quitting wrestling, and then that's when I jumped into jiu-jitsu. And so I can wrestle with the best of them. My defensive wrestling is, I believe it's second to none in my division. So,
Yeah.
you know, I'm comfortable wherever it goes. You know, so I can wrestle. I just haven't needed to wrestle. Trust me, I can.
Sure. And you mentioned high school, and that kind of reminds me of another story I heard about, that you were in a ceramics class, and you were an expert at a certain type of ceramic. Sculpting. Okay. So, can you tell us about that a little bit?
Yeah, I was always good with my hands. I like ceramics, doing that in like 6th grade or something. I think I had a good cool art teacher. So I followed into high school. And everyone's thing in high school was to, a lot of guys growing up in tankers, everyone wanted to build a bomb. And it was a theme, for all the classes. And so our ceramics teacher would see these bongs hit the firing shelf, and he would analyze them and be like, that's a bong. And he ended up breaking, like everyone just started making a habit of breaking them, but people just kept trying to force them through and get them fired. I saw that, and just kind of, I'm a competitive person, so now it means to beat the teacher and disguise something, make something where you can't not fire it. And, you have to disguise the bong so creatively that, you have to fire it, doesn't even think about it. And I started doing it, and there was so much attention around it that, I kind of was building a bong. But I got so carried away with it, and I did so much, I went so above and beyond what anybody would do that he actually got to the shelf, and he kind of knew it before he was going to get there, and he saw it, and he ended up firing it, and after he was done firing it, he held it in front of his classes and told everybody, he's like, you put this much time and effort, and like, literally every class he had told everybody, if you make a bong, this nice or something, he basically said that I'll fire for you.
So
long story short, it's like he was like all inspired by it, and he was actually helping me, like giving me info on how to glaze the thing, not to overdo it and this and that. So we ended up collaborating on a glaze that I did, and I did that, and then the high school, county art show came up, and we ended up submitting it, and of course I won the whole art show. It's pretty hilarious.
So is that what led to your brief flirtation with pursuing art in college? Is that the origin of it?
Oh yeah, I was always one of the best at ceramics, and I didn't have a clear direction of what I wanted to do. I always thought I was going to be a professional athlete, and that was pursuing wrestling. Obviously, that not happening, and surfing and skating. It's hard to make those professions. As a big guy, especially as a big guy like myself. With wrestling all through high school, it's not like I solely focused on surfing and skating growing up. So it was hard it would be hard to jump into that area. And so tentatively, I was focusing on art and just doing jiu-jitsu on the side. Started doing very good in jiu-jitsu, winning tournaments. I took second in the Pan Americans, the first tournament I entered. I jumped from white belt to blue belt just to do it. Ended up taking second. And then in my third semester of junior college, my dad had a heart aneurysm. And he ended up going into a coma for about 3 weeks up at Stanford. And it dragged me away from school. And I ended up going up there every day with my brothers and visiting him, and I lost focus. And I never ended up going back to school after that, and just started pursuing jiu-jitsu, and then eventually pursuing fighting. But realizing how, once I started winning those big tournaments, I was like, maybe I could fight. I know I was tough. I was getting street fights, and I wasn't scared to fight. So ended up pursuing that from then on. Yeah,
is your dad okay? Did he make a recovery?
Yeah, he made a recovery. He finally woke up.
Good.
And yeah, he's all right. So
good.
Still here.
Yeah, good. That's better than the alternative. But
yeah, he's got a ticker in his heart. He's got like a mechanical valve so he can have the aorta burst. So it's a long
right.
story. But I think the first guy actually pulled the story to that end. So there you go.
I wanted to ask you about another wrestler very well-known wrestler that's been linked to AKA or is part of the gym already is the 18-year-old phenom Aaron Pico. Have you been in the gym with him? Have you seen him, roll or throw hands? And you have any first impressions of him?
I haven't seen Pico in the gym with us yet. I talked to him. We've met a few times. I've seen him in Vegas. We had dinner, and then I've seen him in Fresno. Talked. He's a good kid. He's very humble. He's a hungry kid. He's determined. He wants a lot of things, and he's very good at a lot of things. I think he's just, it's about focusing the kid on one direction rather than trying to be the best boxer and MMA fighter and wrestler in the world. The guy wants everything, and so, he's got a good head on his shoulders, but he just needs to be have a good direction, have the right people in his corner to make sure he doesn't spread himself too thin. I think that's a big problem with athletes. If you want to be the best in the world, you got to solely focus on one thing. So, he's supposed to come in, and I think January, he's talking about he has a little break, and he might come in January, December, or right around here. So we'll see. Hopefully he comes in. I've been impressed. I've watched his videos in boxing, and obviously I've seen him wrestle, and I know heard about him. We got a good feel for jiu-jitsu, I guess. So he seems like to be the phenom that they'd have to be.
Yeah, I actually had a chance to meet him. I got a buddy, John Reeder. He's a national champion from Iowa State. I was at his wedding, 2 or 3 months ago. And Aaron was out there, and you just see this baby-faced kid, and just like you said, the most humble kid, and you're just like, there's the LeBron James of wrestling, and just very unassuming, hardworking kid. And with the people that I've talked to, the only concern is, like you said, is it too much too soon, and does he want too much?
Yeah, I think part of the reason why him signing with Bellator, he wants to be the best boxer in the world too. He wants to be the best MMA fighter and the best boxer. So with Bellator, he has an option to fight both. I think that's a bad idea. So, if I have anything to say, I'm going to try to encourage him to pick a direction.
Yeah,
and he listens. He actually looks up. He listens to me. I was talking to him. He's all excited to come and train with us. Fun. The kid, good kid. We'll see.
Yeah, well, he couldn't have picked a better gym. AKA is a factory, and that's quite a room that you guys have there on a daily basis. But wanted to also get your thoughts. I don't know if you had the opportunity to hear it or read about it with Brendan Schaub and Joe Rogan. And Joe Rogan, obviously it was set up. Schaub told him, hey, go after me hard. It'll make for good radio. Did you have an opportunity to listen to it? Did you agree with it? Or did you think it was just like, hey, for somebody that promotes, punching people in the head every week, was it like, what are you talking about, man?
I have the opportunity to check it out. I watched a little bit of it. Didn't see the end. Everyone said he was crying. Was he really crying? Joe's real. Joe's real, and he's got a pretty good eye for the sport. It's hard. It's tough to say. Schwab doesn't. At times he doesn't look like he really wants to fight. Like he's searching for something. But look at. There's a lot of people that you could say that should have retired a long time ago. Look at Andre Arlovsky. He lost his chin. Everyone says he should have retired. He should have been out, never come back. And now, what is he ranked now? Is he top 10 in the world now, or pretty up there? He just knocked out Bigfoot. So
yeah.
I don't know. People can always make resurgences, but I haven't seen him fight the way he should fight. He looks nervous up there. He doesn't come with that same confidence he had. Once you lose your confidence, it's a big deal. You've seen him when he was confident in his striking when he fought those guys previous, the Krokoff fight he had, and some other guys. He believed in his power and believed in his chin. And once you don't believe in you know, one of those, you're at a big disadvantage. Confidence is everything in fighting. If you can't walk in with confidence, you shouldn't be in the cage.
Yeah, it's probably time to, you know, find another profession, which I guess Joe and the other guy, I don't know his name. He was trying to tell him to do something else, but you know, I kind of felt like, hey, I mean, if you're going to tell every guy to quit that's been knocked out 3 or 4 times, you know, you're going to have a pretty short roster. I mean, this stuff happens. It's not like boxing where you're taking hundreds of punches in a single match. I mean, you take one square, you're going to sleep.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of truth to that, and that's why I don't believe knockdowns happen a lot more. I don't believe they should be rated as highly, you know, as the boxing. But you know, did he really get knocked out his last fight? He pretty much got stopped. He's still conscious, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was still there, but you could tell he was incredibly confused because, like, he said something to Brown like, I'm okay, what's going on? And it was just like, man, yeah, you were out of it, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I think you can. It's just about refocusing yourself and coming back. I did hear him say one pretty smart thing is that you can't fight with one foot out the door. That's a huge thing. If you're setting retirement up and focusing on you know, your life outside the cage and, you know, trying to fight while setting up, you know, what you're doing, not solely focusing on being the best fighter you can be and being present rather than like trying to look ahead and I'm going to make some money off this fight to secure myself here or there. You know, it's just a horrible idea. And so, I mean, you got to be 100% focused on fighting if you want to fight.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, I don't think this is something that you can do half-ass. And you know, if he already has one foot out the door, then you know, maybe he should just move along. But you know, I guess it's the opportunity to make $50 or $75 or $100,000 in one night is too seducing, even for people that are like Shab, who has you know, a good background. He seems like a smart guy. He could get a regular job, but it's kind of seducing to make that type of money in one night.
Yeah, no, it definitely sucks in, and just the lifestyle. For me, it's like, it depends on how much you love it. I love sparring. I love fighting, and just the daily routine of getting in the gym and in training. I feel blessed every day. I'm driving home from practice. I left at 11 o'clock. I drove to practice. I got there at 11:45. Warmed up, trained for 2 hours. I'm already back home at 3 o'clock, and you know, I got most of the day done. I mean, this is a dream, man. You know, I really love fighting, and obviously training camps get a little exhausting when you have to get up and get in the gym when you're broken and bruised, and that sucks. But like right now, I don't have a fight scheduled, and I've never been so motivated in my life to train. It's actually exciting, especially where I am in my career. And, you know, I feel like I'm at reaching the pinnacle of my career. You know, I'm reaching my potential, and I'm inspired to get in the gym and train. And it's pretty awesome. I love it when I don't have a fight. You know, I'm like every day I'm trying to better myself now, and it's pretty cool. It's pretty fun. Yeah, but I'm sure it'll turn the corner a little bit. Get a little exhausted about it when you have a fight on your mind. You know, you start thinking everything, overthinking, analyzing things.
Sure. And this is on a little bit lighter note, and then I'll get you out of here. And but you probably know Chael's son is one of my really good friends, and his wife Brittany. She's beautiful. She's a really nice girl. She's addicted to reality television. That's all she watches, reality television. So you know where I'm going. You know where I'm going with this. So she sends me a text, and she's like, "Why is Luke Rockhold on Millionaire Matchmaker?" Like, I was supposed to know. I didn't know that you were on there 3 or 4 months ago. So how are you on Millionaire Matchmaker, and you're You told him like you hadn't had a girlfriend in 9 years. You got the movie star good looks. How does this happen?
How am I not on Millionaire Matchmaker? What are you talking about? I don't know. I mean, I've built somewhat, I guess, of a reputation in the UFC for myself, and you know, I don't really have girls around because they hold you back, and I've been solely focused on being the best I can be in as a fighter. So I've kind of messed around a lot. I've been all over the board, but they approached the UFC like asking them about, you know, a good fit for their show, maybe one of the fighters, and pretty much everybody just immediately pointed the finger at me. So I happily obliged, and wait till you see the show. It should be pretty all time. Tentatively, I'll tell you my show should air January 29th is what they said tentatively. So we'll see.
And what channel is that on? I'm not a reality show guy.
I'm not a reality show guy either, but you know, it's on Bravo.
You know, I'm gonna have to ask Brittany. She'll know.
Yeah, you know, I've gotten some bunch of random people who have seen my the commercial because they keep playing the commercial for the new season. I believe it started this week or next week, I think, or something like that.
Yeah.
Everybody's been hitting me up about it, and just realizing I'm on the show. Did I just see you on Millionaire Matchmaker? What the hell? And I'm just laughing. So it's gonna be pretty all time. I'm not gonna lie. I think I'm like the part of the finale or something.
No shit.
Some funny stuff happened on the show. I was trying to coast, but then I got caught at the end, and things kind of blew up in my face a bit. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be good.
So it's not like
it's gonna be good reality TV.
So it's not like you're on for like one episode. It's like a season.
No. I believe it's one episode. I like one episode to myself, or I split with the one of the Real Housewives of Miami or something like that. I'm not exactly sure how it goes, but yeah, I'll have one episode, and they picked up like a bunch of girls for me. She picked a final group of 3 girls. I had to pick from the 3 girls. I was supposed to pick from the 3 girls. Something there might have been, you know, change in the game, but I'm always changing things up, and it's gonna be worthwhile. I'm not gonna lie. There's a lot of fun stuff that happens. I don't know much I can say, but I went my own path. Let's just say.
Cool. Well, we'll have to watch it. It'll be the first Millionaire Matchmaker show that I watch. But just a couple quick things. I don't want to take up too much of your time. Just some quick hits that people on Twitter asked me to ask you. They wanted to know, because they know like how well conditioned you are, and they were curious as to what your resting heart rate is.
I have a really slow heart rate. Especially when I'm training, obviously, I don't think anyone trains as hard as me in cardio and anything. I put more work in than anybody, and everyone talks about Bisping's heart rate. I remember building up to that fight. I was getting as low as 32 beats per minute, I believe. You know, my resting heart rate.
Okay.
We were doing this machine. This guy's got it's a recovery machine, and it like they put all these heart monitors on you, and it reacts to that. It's called ECP, I believe, and kind of like these leg pumps, and it goes all the way up to your waist, and it pumps all the blood, like double pumps it through your heart, so getting a lot more oxygen, a lot more flow, and helps the healing process. And the machine was shutting down because I was getting below 34 beats per minute. I kept getting down to like 30. I got to 32 quite a bit, and so I would have to actually. I started drinking coffee, and before I had to come in, like eat some like dark chocolate and drink some coffee, just to make the machine work better.
Wow. And this question is from Reed Kuhn, the author of Fightnomics. He wanted to know that the picture that you took on Instagram, what you're just hanging out at the beach or at a lake or something, and you have a copy of his book. Was that just a prop, or did you read his book?
I checked in on his book quite a bit. I did some homework. And it's interesting. You know, I'm a student of the game, and I looked into it.
Gotcha.
I'm not gonna lie. It was. I think I took a picture in Thailand. I was in Thailand, so try to catch up on my reading and traveling.
Yeah, that reminds me. What were you doing in Thailand with a tiger? What was that about?
We're going to get into the tiger now. Huh?
The short version.
The short version. I mean, I was out in Macau. I was guest fighter in Macau, and Swick has his affiliate gym of ours out in Thailand, and he created the amazing gym. Place one of the nicest gym I've ever seen. And he's been trying to get me out there, and he heard I was coming out, and so he convinced me to come out for a few days. I had a few days on my schedule, and I ended up going out there, and we pretty much ran the gauntlet of Phuket. Just did everything you could do in 3 days, and got in there with the snakes, saw the tigers. That's about it. That's all that happened with the tigers. Just saw them, and then did it all up. Truthfully, I'm in there with a tiger, and I'm like, I always like to push the envelope. I want to do something different. I'm not gonna lie, and I was just kind of playing it by ear, and I was like, what if they wouldn't let me get close to his head, and I was like, I wanted to like fake choke the tiger, and just joking around, posing for pictures at least, and like I was sitting behind it, making me sit behind it, and the thing's balls are sticking right out, and like oh my god, and then I'm like there's fucking balls. Excuse me, I was just pointing to him, and then like the trainer's like, grab him. I'm like, what are you talking about? And he's like, grab him. He's just like joking around. He comes up and he grabs him right in front of my face. I'm like, are you serious right now? And I looked at the tiger. He didn't like react too much. And then, oh, okay. Real quick. Grab the camera slick and just got the quick snap of the picture. And people blew it way out of proportion. It was just cupping them. I didn't have a strong grip. Trust me. This thing was lively.
Right.
And people want to talk about how they're drugged and everything. And you see, I mean, I barely touched him, and the thing turned around and looked at me straight in the eye. I put the video out on, to follow the picture, just to make people realize. And the thing, yes, stared me square in the eyes, and I was just like, oh shoot.
No.
I'm sorry, buddy. But it was like right after that, it was funny. There's another cat walking the yard, like about 100 yards away almost. And the thing caught it on the corner of its eye, and it jumped up faster than I seen a tiger and just spun right for us. And we had to jump out of the way because it was like it saw a female across the yard it really wanted to get to. And the thing was lively. I'm not gonna lie.
So, did you have a contingent?
I guess what's actually the funniest part about this is like people are like, a lot of people talk about their drug tigers and this and that. Somebody got mauled actually about 2 weeks after I was there.
For grabbing their balls?
No, I don't. I hope I didn't start a theme with that, But no, somebody was just in there with a tiger. You don't want to piss off the tigers when you're in the cage. So trust me, I'm not the guy to try to piss off a tiger and go, square off with one. But you got.
I think you were the one who upset it, and then the guy paid for what you did.
I think I just made him happy. I was just giving him a little, Who doesn't want their balls cupped? Who doesn't want their balls cupped? Come on.
Right. Yeah. It's a very, very comforting thing. All right. Well, I couldn't.
We'll leave it at that. All right, Brian, how's that?
And I couldn't end this without asking the obligatory question: CM Punk, is he welcomed at AKA? Do you want to work out with him?
He's welcome. I mean, it's.
He's welcome.
I don't mind guys coming to the gym to train. The more guys, the better. Especially my weight. It's nice. I got a lot of big guys. I end up getting thrown in the mix with. So another guy my size is not going to hurt. It's a little more attention. Obviously, it's never bad. Never bad for you. So whatever.
But I can kind of see, like, if he was in there, the place would turn into a circus.
I mean, we got Cain Velasquez in the gym, Cormier, myself. We got a pretty high-profile gym. We keep it tight. I mean, if he's in there, I mean, it's not gonna be that big of a change.
Gotcha. All right, yeah, that makes sense. Hey, Luke, thanks for the time, man. And looking forward to see what that next fight is, because everybody I talk to, they say there's one guy that can beat Weidman. It's Luke Rockhold. It's not Vitor, after he's off his medicine, and it's not any of the other jokesters that they got ranked ahead of you. If there's a guy that can take this guy down, it's you. So looking forward to what that next fight will be, and best of luck to you in the future, man.
And I have in my cold beer. You have your cold beer? If not, you are fucking jabroni.
Wash it down with 1 beer, 2 beers, 3 beers, a shot of whiskey.
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
The following announcement has been paid for by the New World Order.
Hey, it's FRB, and welcome to the FRB Show for the week of December 15th, 2014. It's been a hectic couple of weeks. I was in Vegas for UFC 1 and then for the UFC show in Phoenix. Had a great time. Actually, too much fun. I missed my damn flight for the first time ever in my life. I missed a flight. I was going from Phoenix back home. And, had a few too many cold beers and forgot to set my alarm. So, missed the former Strikeforce middleweight champion of the world. And I don't care what the UFC rankings say. To me, there's a guy who's the champion. His name is Chris Weidman. And there's a #1 contender. And he's my guest right now. His name is Luke Rockhold. What's going on, Luke?
I like the way you think, Brian. I like the way you think.
I mean,
you're a very informed individual, so I'll take it.
Have you seen those rankings, though, man? I mean, they have Anderson Silva as a #1 contender, Jacare, who you beat in a 5-round match. You got #3 Vitor Belfort, who has lost about 30 pounds in the past 6 months. Machida at 4, and then you're at 5.
None of it makes any sense to me, to tell you the truth. Belfort, I understand. I mean, he should be the #1 contender, given what he's done and where he's at. I have no idea where you put Anderson Silva at this point. Obviously, the Jacare, I don't.
The following announcement has been paid for by the New World Order.
Remember this, when you're the greatest fighter in the world today, they got a name for you. They don't call you a great fighter, they call you Chael Son and beat me, if you can.
And after tonight, none of you in this ring will ever be the same again.
You're talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kid stealing, wheeling dealing, limousine riding, jet flying, son of a gun, and I'm having a hard time holding these alligators down. Woo!
I'm gonna drink a Coors Light. That's a Coors Light because Bud Light won't pay me nothing.
My flight. So, and then work, and then a bunch of other stuff, life. So this is a shorter episode than the other ones, but it's a great guest. We have Luke Rockhold, who's I think the biggest threat to Chris Weidman for the UFC middleweight title. So hope you guys enjoy it, and I'll be back next week working on a couple guests. I will definitely talk about the lawsuit against the UFC, and we might have a guest co-host who is actually a UFC fighter that I know. So might be doing a little bit something different, try to make this as entertaining as possible. So with that, here's Bruce. Welcome to the FRB Show, and when I told you a couple weeks ago that we were bringing the heavy artillery early, I wasn't joking. Today we got...
agree with that. But
yeah, I mean, it's very difficult.
all over the place. I don't even know, like, who does who's the reporters, who's on the panel right now.
Well, the problem is the most credible journalists really they're not doing it. They said it's some kind of they don't want to be involved with it.
Yeah.
So
it's crazy. It's crazy. You know, we have a panelist of journalists who are ranking us as the best fighters in the world who have never fought or trained probably a day in their life. It's a weird thing, right?
Yeah, that's absolutely true. And
how do they judge you? I don't know. How do they judge that? I mean, you only know so much until you get in there.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I mean, 2014 for you has been a really good year. You know, you beat Philippou, Bosch, Bisping, all by finish. You know, all